Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to Nine Nar Trees podcast. Today, I will summarize and review the book. Free Will by Sam Harris is a provocative and succinct exploration of the concept of free will, a subject that has occupied philosophers, neuroscientists, and thinkers for centuries. In this compelling book, Harris leverages both philosophy and neuroscience to challenge the very notion that humans possess the kind of freedom they commonly believe drives their choices and actions. Rather than relying on abstract introspection or anecdotal evidence, Harris approaches the subject through the lens of scientific discovery and rational inquiry, creating a concise yet powerful case against the traditional concept of free will. The book is not merely an academic discourse. It is a call to examine the very roots of moral responsibility, personal identity, and how society responds to crime, success, and failure. By exposing the underlying mechanisms of human thought and decision-making, Harris invites readers to reconsider their intuitions about guilt, achievement, and forgiveness. Through clear language and careful argumentation, he demonstrates how our choices are shaped by a myriad of influences beyond our conscious control, from genetics to upbringing to moment-to-moment neurobiology. Free Will challenges its audience to let go of comforting illusions and embrace the profound implications of a deterministic universe, promising not just intellectual enlightenment, but a pathway to greater compassion and understanding. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, the illusion of free will. In the opening sections of Free Will, Sam Harris builds his central argument. The notion of free will, as commonly understood, is an illusion. Harris explains that while people feel as though they are making decisions freely, from mundane choices like what to eat for breakfast to major life decisions, this sense of agency is a product of unconscious mental processes. Citing findings from neuroscience, Harris shows that the brain initiates actions before we become consciously aware of our intentions. This means our conscious mind does not truly initiate decisions. Rather, it discovers what our brain has already set in motion. Harris clarifies that recognizing free will as an illusion does not diminish the reality of experience. Instead, it reframes our understanding of how and why we behave as we do. This shift is unsettling to many because it challenges deeply held beliefs about selfhood and autonomy. However, Harris asserts that confronting this illusion head-on allows us to adopt a worldview that is more accurate and, potentially, more compassionate. Secondly, implications for moral responsibility. A major consequence of Harris's argument is the reevaluation of moral responsibility. If our actions are the inevitable result of biological and environmental factors outside our control, can we still hold people morally responsible for wrongdoing or praise them for success? Harris delves into the societal implications, particularly in the context of the justice system. In light of his thesis, the retributive model of justice, punishing people solely because they chose to do wrong, loses its foundation. Instead, Harris advocates for a system that emphasizes rehabilitation over punishment, recognizing that distinctions between the criminal and the rest of us are more circumstantial than we may like to admit. Harris suggests that compassion, understanding, and practical societal protection should replace anger, vengefulness, and moral condemnation. He is careful to clarify that acknowledging the absence of free will does not excuse harmful actions, but rather demands a more rational and humane approach to justice. Thirdly, determinism and the unconscious mind. At the core of Harris's argument is the deterministic understanding of the universe. Every choice and behavior is the product of preceding causes: genes, environment, context, and neurochemical processes, none of which individuals control. Harris draws from experimental data showing that brain activity predicting a subject's movement emerges before they are conscious of their decision. He stresses that even seemingly spontaneous choices are traceable to subconscious motivations, beliefs, and desires shaped by life experience and physical brain states. Harris elaborates on the myth of the self as a prime mover, exposing how decisions arise from countless unseen processes. By illuminating the unconscious wires that guide our daily behavior, he reveals how little conscious oversight humans truly have. This perspective encourages humility and a profound change in how we interpret intentionality and agency. Fourthly, practical effects on life and society. Harris explores how adopting the perspective that free will does not exist impacts daily living and broader society. On a personal level, understanding that people are not the autonomous authors of their actions can undermine unnecessary guilt, pride, and blame. Harris discusses how this outlook can engender more generosity and patience in relationships, as it becomes clear that successes and failures result from conditions beyond anyone's individual control. On a societal scale, this worldview could reduce conflict and polarization, encourage more empathetic policies, and foster a collective approach to well-being. Harris is careful to note that the absence of free will does not entail fatalism. People still respond to incentives and feedback, which means society retains its capacity to influence behavior constructively. However, he emphasizes the difference between influencing outcomes intelligently versus assigning misplaced moral credit or blame. Lastly, meaning, purpose, and autonomy. After free will, one common objection to Harris's thesis is the fear that discarding free will render life meaningless or dissolve personal ambition. Harris argues persuasively that life's meaning, joy, and sense of purpose are unaffected by the truth of determinism. Our aspirations, values, and creative inspirations still arise and matter. They are simply understood as emergent properties of a complex, causally connected universe. Harris reassures readers that it is possible to enjoy and pursue goals, relationships, and personal development even while acknowledging the absence of ultimate autonomy. The recognition of determinism frees people from unnecessary psychological burdens and invites a richer engagement with the human experience. Harris concludes that a world without free will can still be one of deep meaning, kindness, and ethical progress, perhaps even more so, because it naturally inclines us toward empathy and understanding. In conclusion, Free Will by Sam Harris is a book for readers intrigued by the intersection of neuroscience, philosophy, and ethics. It is ideal for anyone willing to confront fundamental assumptions about agency, responsibility, and the nature of the self. Students of philosophy and science will find its arguments both rigorous and accessible, while lay readers will appreciate Harris's lucid prose and clear explanations. This book provides value to professionals in law, psychology, education, and social policy, as it speaks directly to how we judge, punish, reward, and interact with others in society. In a cultural moment where blame and retribution saturate discourse, Free Will offers a profound opportunity for personal and collective transformation. Harris does not merely demolish cherished illusions, he replaces them with a vision rooted in compassion, humility, and practical wisdom. Rather than rendering morality obsolete, his thesis encourages a shift from retribution to understanding, and from blame to problem-solving. Readers who embrace the book's message may find greater equanimity in dealing with personal setbacks, more empathy toward others, and deeper clarity in structuring social and legal institutions. Purchasing Free Will over other books on the topic is justified by Harris's unique combination of scientific rigor, philosophical clarity, and moral urgency. In a concise format, he distills a vast and complex subject into an argument with real implications for everyday life, challenging us not only to think differently, but to live and treat others with renewed compassion and fairness. If you would like to support Sam Harris, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I've provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, please let me know what you think and share your thoughts. See you around.